So Elliot Hulse has a video entitled Donald Trump is Your Daddy. Let's give it a look and see what he means.
So recently I've come to the conclusion that a big part of the reason why effeminate men and feminist women hate Donald Trump is because Donald Trump is your daddy.
Or because he's awful? Because he's awful. I'm gonna go with that one. Because he has policies that hurt people, and on top of that, he has a clear disdain for anyone who isn't like him. He clearly doesn't care about the poor or people who aren't white. Like, those are things people don't like about him. Are you gonna do like a pop psychology thing where you're like, oh, you just don't like him because you have daddy issues? No, Trump's like a really bad dude. That's why I don't like him. Ugh.
In a world where fathers are weak or absent, people generally don't know how to respond to authority, respond to alpha male behavior.
If you think Donald Trump is an alpha male, what the heck is your definition of alpha male? Donald Trump can't even fire people in real life face to face. He does it on reality TV shows, but he's consistently firing people via tweet. He's like so soft that women who ask him questions he doesn't like at like press conferences, he'll just walk off the stage. The dude's a wimp. What are you talking about?
Respond to a strong father. A father who does what he says and says what he does. A father who doesn't care if you like him.
You said does what he says and says what he does. What about the wall? He said we're going to build the wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. First of all, the wall hasn't been built. And second of all, they dropped the Mexico's going to pay for it thing almost immediately.
He's going to do the right thing. Donald Trump represents that father that we never had. Now,
no. What? Oh no, Elliot. I think you're revealing a little bit too much about yourself here than you think. That's a shame.
It's no wonder because we live in a world where the father has been removed from the home. Leftist policies created a situation.
Whoa. The war on drugs is a leftist policy? What?
Where there's bonuses to kick the father out of the home. And he's either not in the home or...
So, what do you consider a leftist policy? Because what you're describing is probably something more along the lines of the war on drugs, over-policing of minority communities, and private prisons. These are all right-wing policies, you idiot!
Once again, leftist policy created a situation where fathers are in prison or following the
What are you even talking about?
media and doing what they're told by being beta blue pill bitches, just like a Homer Simpson.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
So
capitalism.
if you have aversion to...
No, he's talking about child support and women's shelters and anti-abuse laws. No, there's no way he's talking about that.
The alpha male authority status of a man like Donald Trump. And it doesn't have to be him. It could be your boss at work. For me, it was my own daddy. I didn't recognize growing up in this blue pill beta world where I was taught mostly by women. I didn't recognize how powerful it was to have a father that was strict, was disciplined, who made me do things I didn't want to do and didn't argue or pander or negotiate with me as a younger fool.
Okay, I'm sorry if that's what you're into. Great. I don't think that's a good parenting style for most people these days, though.
Now, there are a lot of people out here who are much older than I was when I was 14 being rebellious against my father. The point is that when you have no father or you have a weak father, you don't know how to relate to the father. Another part of the problem that we have here is that religion has been taken out of our communist, feminist, atheist freaking world.
Communist, feminist, atheists unite! I think we can take Elliot Hulse down. I think there's enough of us. All he's got is a big broadsword back there. I think we can take him.
So when there's no father in the home and there's no father above,
Bingo.
when you see a father, sense of father, hear the thundering voice of a strong alpha male father, you just don't know how to react.
Or the things that you associate with being an alpha male are all traits that most people see as being an asshole, being inconsiderate, constantly thinking you're right and that no one can tell you you're wrong even in the face of evidence that you are, being loud, being aggressive towards people that aren't being aggressive towards you, being self-important and self-obsessed. These are things that I'd imagine you would consider alpha, when in reality, everyone else just calls them asshole. Like, that's not being an alpha, that's being a dick.
What they do typically is behave like a woman. Men who reject authority, hate...
Fellas, is it gay to not get behind a fascist authoritarian? Arcana Stamper Blackwell says, want to get some men back in the home? Legalize, regulate, and tax all drugs. Allow social workers to handle social issues instead of the police. And build a restorative justice system like they have in Norway. That'll do a lot for you. I agree. George Washington was apparently acting like a woman.
Strong men. Now, I spoke about in a previous video that women resent weak men, and at their core, they really do. So, a real feminine...
Because if I trust anyone to tell me what the inner workings of a woman's mind are, it's Elliot Hulse, man who framed a mall sword and does half of his videos with his shirt off. Thank you, comp you with a bit. It's gay to not get behind him because men F from behind.
A woman who's in her femininity will recognize the contrast, the beauty, the power of linking up with a strong man. But
do you understand that you can be, like, strong and not be an a-hole? Like, these things are mutually exclusive. If you're strong, you don't need to come off as an asshole because you're strong, right? The last thing I think when I think of Donald Trump is strong. I see compensatory narcissistic behavior. It doesn't come off to me like he's strong. It comes off to me that he has a ton of self-doubt. And instead of handling like that like a healthy human being, he compensates by constantly acting like he's the best at everything. That's not healthy or strong. It's compensating and overcompensating for your shortcomings in an unhealthy way.
Who baits after beta blue pill bitches are the type of woman that wants to push you around, slap you around, tell you what to do until she don't need you no more. So men, if you want to be a strong man, an authority, an alpha male man, look at alpha male authorities with reverence, awe. Recognize the ability to be hated by that man, but still do the right thing. And women,
apparently being an alpha male is about looking at the guy who's an asshole and sucking his dick. That's being an alpha male. That guy sure is loud and obnoxious. I'm gonna do whatever he says. Alpha. Okay, seems a little contradictory, but do you?
if you hate an authority, you hate alpha males, you hate Donald Trump.
Is this guy an incel grifter? I don't know about incel. He's married. Like, he's not like incel or MGTOW. He's just like a weird right-winger who talks about alpha males all the time.
Recognize that you are not in your feminine. You are trying to compete with what's masculine. And when there's no contrast, there's no polar...
Elliot would never do anything that's not masculine. He goes to the gym and hangs out with a bunch of other shirtless dudes while he hangs out. That's never been considered a non-masculine activity, right, fellas?
Clarity. There's no good life for you, your womb, your children, or your family. Alpha male leaders have always been the powerful leaders. Alpha male men have always been the strong leaders.
No?
Alpha male men have always been the ones that take weak times.
I would love to find out a list of world leaders from history that he thinks are alpha males.
Hard times, fucked up, degenerate, backwards, decadent times. Like the
Kinda sounds like he's trying to describe Adolf Hitler, but alright.
times we're living in right now, and made them good again.
There's nothing funny about
Devious
the tools
Chillster
of
with
capitalism.
25 bits. Alpha male men are always the ones who fall for the dumb idea of alpha males that has been debunked by the original person who made the study about alphas. Yep.
Be an alpha male in a fucked up, weak world. Turn this, what was once easy times, good times, that are now bad times, into good times by being a strong man and respecting authority. Done.
There's nothing more alpha than to bending down and prostrating yourself to the authority in front of you. So alpha. Does he even hear himself? I don't know. Okay, that's enough Elliot for today. What else we got?